Julian Newman was once the face of viral basketball, dazzling millions with flashy dribble moves and fearless shots. He seemed destined for greatness, but today, his return to the court tells a very different story. Instead of progress, Julian's game has somehow gotten worse, spiraling into disappointment and raising questions about his development. But how did a player once overflowing with promise regress so badly? Let's dive into Julian Newman's shocking decline and what it says about the dangers of hype-driven basketball.
How old are you now?
11.
You're 11, and how old were you when you started playing basketball? Seriously.
When I was 3, I started at 3.
3?
Julian Newman's journey to viral fame began when he played varsity basketball as an elementary schooler, a story that instantly captured the basketball world's attention. At just 11 years old, he was dribbling circles around older opponents under the coaching of his father, Jamie Newman.
What's it like being 11 years old, but you play on a high school team?
It's a lot of fun. I get to hang out with some of the older kids. The girls love it,
who gave him the ultimate green light. Videos of his flashy handles, deep step-back shots, and audacious trash-talking quickly spread across social media. On the surface, it was a captivating underdog story, a small kid with big confidence dominating the court. Social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter became the fuel for Julian's meteoric rise. Mixtapes featuring his highlight reel plays, dribble moves, logo range threes, and over-the-top swagger racked up millions of views, making him a household name among basketball fans. His size, combined with his flashy playstyle, made him stand out even more. However, while the views grew, so did the questions about the level of competition he faced. Most of his opponents were unremarkable, and his performances often came against weaker teams, creating an image inflated by viral content rather than elite competition. In high school, Julian regularly put up over 30 points per game, a statistic that looked impressive at first glance. However, those numbers came with significant asterisks. Playing for a small private school, where his father was both coach and gatekeeper, Julian had free reign to take as many shots as he pleased. Reckless shot selection and ball dominance became staples of his game, while turnovers and inefficiency were overlooked. Style often took precedence over substance, and rather than growing his skills, Julian leaned into the theatrics that made him famous. Julian Newman's downfall became increasingly apparent as his game faced real scrutiny. Early on, he dominated smaller, weaker opponents, but viral videos began surfacing of him struggling against more talented players. When faced with opponents who were bigger, faster, and stronger, Julian's flashy moves lost their effectiveness. His over-the-top trash-talking, once viewed as confidence, began to backfire. Rather than intimidating his opponents, it fueled their motivation to shut him down, resulting in humiliating moments that only added to the criticism. It wasn't just his attitude that drew attention. Scouts began zeroing in on the flaws in his game. At 5'6", Julian was already at a disadvantage in a sport built for taller, more physical athletes, while small guards like Muggsy Bogues, Nate Robinson, or Chris Clemens thrived by adapting their game with elite athleticism, IQ, or shooting ability.
Let's see if the Bulls score here. He gets a timeout. 8-2. Oh, goodness gracious! Big things come in small packages. Oh my God, get a timeout, Portland. Wow!
Julian failed to evolve. His inefficient shot selection, over-dribbling, and refusal to adjust his playstyle exposed a lack of growth. Rather than becoming a well-rounded player, Julian remained locked into the same habits that worked against weak competition, but faltered against real talent. As his game plateaued, college programs began losing interest. Despite his flashy highlights, coaches and scouts saw the reality. A player who put up empty stats with poor fundamentals and little team contribution. Schools were reluctant to take a chance on a guard who prioritized viral moments over disciplined basketball. The offers that young prodigies typically receive never materialized for Julian, and his NBA dream began slipping away.
So what year would you say in your life did you transcend from not only just balling at a high level in your grade group and clearly grade groups above you, but on a national level?
Like 5th grade, that's when I realized like basketball can really take me somewhere.
Right.
It's always been a dream. Around 5th grade, it was like
The influence of Julian's family, particularly his father Jamie Newman, played a significant role in this downward spiral. Rather than focusing on development, Jamie leaned into Julian's online fame, capitalizing on the hype with ventures like the family's reality show and a clothing brand. The show painted Julian as a larger-than-life figure, but it also amplified the negative perception of the Newman family. Their focus seemed to shift from basketball to maintaining online relevance, turning Julian into more of an internet personality than a serious athlete. Julian Newman's quiet commitment to Bethesda University marked an unexpected and sobering turn in his basketball career. Bethesda, a small NCAA school not affiliated with the NCAA, was a far cry from the Division I programs Julian once dreamed of joining. Despite the lack of attention surrounding his decision, Julian entered his first season with his usual confidence, claiming he'd drop 40 in games. However, what followed was a series of performances that proved far worse than anyone could have imagined. In his first game against Cal State Bakersfield, Julian played 15 minutes but struggled mightily. He went 0 for 3 from the field and 0 for 3 from three-point range. All of his 3 points came from free throws, while his contributions elsewhere were minimal: 1 assist, 0 rebounds, and 2 turnovers. The most staggering statistic: Bethesda lost by 69 points, 122-53. Hoping for improvement in his second game against Southern Utah, Julian was more aggressive but far less effective. In another 15 minutes of play, he managed 6 points, shooting 3 for 12 from the field and 0 for 6 from 3. Adding to his struggles, he went 0 for 3 from the free throw line. Julian's performance mirrored his team's fate as Bethesda suffered another lopsided defeat, this time by 53 points. By the third game against Utah Tech, Julian's role had diminished significantly. He played just 6 minutes and again failed to score, going 0 for 3 from the field and 0 for 2 at the free throw line. His only notable contributions were 2 rebounds and a steal, but Bethesda still lost by 31 points. The downward spiral continued in the fourth game against the Masters University. Julian's court time dropped further to 4 minutes, during which he shot 0 for 7 from the field and 0 for 5 from three-point range. He finished the game with 0 points, and Bethesda was handed a 60-point loss, 117-57. When viewed collectively, Julian's statistics paint a bleak picture. Across his first 4 games, he averaged just 3 points, 2 rebounds, and fewer than 1 assist per game. His shooting percentages were disastrous: 12% from the field, 0% from three-point range, 0 for 17, and 33% from the free throw line, 3 for 9. These numbers would be troubling at any level of competition, but for a player once heralded as a basketball prodigy, they were downright shocking. What makes Julian's struggles even worse is the level of competition. The NCAA is far below even Division III standards, yet Julian has failed to perform against teams that lack elite talent. Instead of showcasing growth, he has doubled down on the same bad habits that plagued him throughout his career: excessive dribbling, poor shot selection, and minimal effort on defense. At Bethesda, where expectations were already low, Julian's inability to make a meaningful impact raises serious questions about his basketball future. Social media has become a dominant force in modern basketball, creating stars overnight and often overshadowing the core principles of the game. Julian Newman's story is the perfect example of how hype culture can inflate expectations while masking critical shortcomings. Platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok have changed how basketball talent is perceived. For players like Julian Newman, viral mixtapes and highlight reels focused on flashy dribbling, deep three-pointers, and on-court bravado gained millions of views. While entertaining, these clips prioritize style over substance, promoting skills that look good on camera but lack effectiveness in real games. In Julian's case, the hype started early, playing varsity basketball in elementary school and being marketed as a phenom. Social media amplified his image to near mythical proportions, setting unrealistic expectations for a young player whose game lacked critical fundamentals.
I believe that all this happened to me in such little time.
I couldn't dream it would be this fast, so quick. It's amazing how fast it's taken off.
This overexposure, fueled by his father's relentless promotion, placed him in a spotlight that became impossible to escape. Julian's struggles at Bethesda University reveal the pitfalls of social media fame without true development. Instead of focusing on evolving his game, improving shot selection, defensive effort, and court IQ, Julian continued to rely on the same ineffective tricks that made him popular online. His story serves as a warning of what happens when hype replaces hard work and growth. Compare this to players like Aquili Carr, another undersized guard who gained similar viral fame. Known as the Crime Stopper for his electrifying high school performances, Carr faced similar challenges with height and pressure. However, unlike Julian, Aquili adapted his game by embracing structured basketball and focusing on efficiency. Although Carr's path didn't lead to the NBA, his development earned him opportunities overseas, showcasing the importance of balancing hype with real skill. Julian, on the other hand, failed to make the same adjustments. The broader impact of players like Julian Newman extends beyond individual careers. Social media-driven fame can lead to roster spots being handed to players with online clout rather than actual talent. College teams desperate for attention may overlook hardworking athletes who lack the viral presence but possess the skills and discipline to contribute meaningfully. For younger athletes striving to earn scholarships or playing opportunities, this creates frustration and disillusionment. When players with real skill are pushed aside for those with name value, it undermines the integrity of the game and sends the wrong message about what success in basketball truly requires. Julian Newman's failure to improve as a basketball player boils down to 3 critical factors: basketball IQ, physical limitations, and developmental coaching. Despite early fame and years of practice, he struggled to translate his talent into meaningful success at higher levels of competition. One of Julian's biggest downfalls has been his decision-making on the court. His flashy dribble moves, which once captivated social media audiences, serve no real purpose against structured defenses. Instead of using his handles to create efficient scoring opportunities or find open teammates, Julian repeatedly forces contested shots and low percentage looks. This style of play, built for mixtape highlights, fails against higher level competition where defenses are disciplined and mistakes are punished. Additionally, Julian's reluctance to embrace team basketball further highlights his poor basketball IQ. While many small guards thrive through smart passing, quick decision-making, and spacing, Julian's game has remained isolation-heavy. His lack of adaptability, especially in college, exposed his unwillingness to evolve. Standing at 5'6", Julian faces an uphill battle every time he steps onto the court. While height isn't a deal-breaker for guards, players like Muggsy Bogues and Earl Boykins succeeded at similar statures. They compensated with elite skills, high basketball IQ, and relentless hustle. Julian, on the other hand, lacks the exceptional shooting, defensive prowess, or court vision necessary to offset his physical disadvantage. At the college level, his size is more glaring than ever. Opponents easily shoot over him, overpower him in the paint, and exploit his defensive weaknesses. Without the ability to adapt his game to overcome these challenges, Julian's physical limitations remain a constant hurdle. Perhaps the most significant factor in Julian's stagnation is his lack of proper coaching and accountability. Under the direction of his father, Jamie Newman, Julian enjoyed complete freedom on the court. While this may have inflated his high school stats and confidence, it stunted his growth as a player. Instead of learning to play within a team structure or improving his weaknesses, Julian's flashy, individualistic style was repeatedly reinforced. Great players evolve through mentorship, discipline, and constructive criticism. Julian, however, never had to answer for poor shot selection, defensive lapses, or selfish play. The absence of structured coaching and proper development robbed him of the opportunity to refine his skills and mature as a player. Julian Newman's disastrous start to his college basketball career raises serious questions about his future in the sport. With his performances at Bethesda University falling far short of expectations, his professional basketball aspirations now seem unrealistic. The dream of playing in elite leagues like the NBA or even top-tier overseas leagues appears out of reach without drastic improvement. Alternative paths may offer a way forward for Julian, albeit outside traditional professional basketball. His viral fame and strong social media presence make him a natural fit for influencer basketball circuits, such as leagues that focus on entertainment over competition. These platforms could allow Julian to leverage his name and skills, even if his style hasn't translated well to higher level basketball. Alternatively, Julian could pivot entirely, retiring from competitive basketball to focus on media ventures, reality shows, basketball-related content, or growing the Newman family brand might be his next logical steps. Julian Newman's story, from viral fame to college basketball struggles, serves as a harsh reality check for modern athletes. Years of hype, flashy play, and a refusal to evolve have left him far behind his peers, proving that social media clout alone cannot sustain a career. But ultimately, Julian's struggles leave one lingering question: what could his career have been with the right focus and guidance? If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to watch our next one shown on screen.